Brett Howden avoids his arbitration hearing and signs a 2-year extension with the Golden Knights. And we knew that the Golden Knights did not want this case to go to the arbiter. We'll tell you why next.
You're Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hi again, everyone. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. Make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel, Locked On Golden Knights. And also, we are on Twitter at Locked On VGK, at Tony Dasco, at TD Chris G. And Chris, I swear that VGK must have been listening to our show a couple of days ago. So on our Wednesday show, we both said, pay Brett Howden. Avoid arbitration, right? It just made sense to us. At least give him a raise. We felt that he deserved some sort of a bump there. VGK had offered him the same salary that he made a season ago at $1.5 million. So Chris said, pay Howden $1.825 million. Jeez. And then I said, pay him an even $2 million. And so the Golden Knights were listening, of course, and they cut the difference right down the middle, and they're paying him $1.9 million AAV for the next couple of seasons. I think it's a good deal, and I'm sure that Howden must be happy about that. He deserved a little bit of a raise. We said that, and VGK wanted to keep this band together, if you will. Why did VGK keep, again, everything away from the arbiter? Do you think that perhaps Howden had a little bit more leverage than they thought?
I don't think so. I mean, most of these cases don't end up going to the arbiter. It's more or less a placeholder so the two sides can negotiate a little bit. It's interesting because you do find out sometimes what the player was asking for and what the team was offering. And I believe it's been known that the Golden Knights tried to hit him right back at $1.5 million again, which, looking at Brett Howden's output, I don't know if that's necessarily completely unfair. His regular season stats went down, but he did well in the playoffs. But I mean, everyone did well in the playoffs for the Golden Knights. So, maybe it was a little bit inflated. I can't imagine he wanted much more than like, $2.5 million at the most. He might have taken a shot. He might have taken a shot. The players always shoot high, and they hope the arbiter is more on their side than the Golden Knights side. So, I mean, reasonably, I think probably like the sweet spot in his mind was like 1.85 to 2. And if the team hits anywhere in between, so be it. But like I said, I don't put too much into the fact that it got settled. I think the two sides knew there was going to be an agreement. I mean, Howden's not going to sit the year out and go play overseas or something crazy like that. Like, that's not going to happen if they don't like what the arbiter says and however all that nonsense plays out. So you knew something was going to happen. It's good that it did happen because Howden is a great depth piece that apparently has his own line if you had your way, Tony, in explaining it.
Absolutely. And we did tell everyone on Wednesday, Chris, arbitration could get ugly. And by that, we mean the two sides, they each have to try to prove their case.
Of course.
And VGK has lost just the one case. That was the case of Nate Schmidt. And that's when he went, though, from $1 million salary to $4.5 million in salary, which I can't remember if his stats bore that he should make that much money. Do you?
At face value, I don't think
I don't think
so. I wonder. Yeah. So I mean, it's like buying a house. You look at the comparable. You look at players who had similar seasons and what they make, and stuff like that. So I wonder, when you dig in a little deeper to that, exactly how it played out. I mean, I'm trying to think like who you compare Nate Schmidt to on the roster now, like a Zach Whitecloud with maybe a little less scoring touch and not as much physicality. Like, Schmidt is not a physical guy, but he's not that fast either. But he's a good defenseman. He had a good agent, and apparently they juiced the arbiter, possibly.
Yeah, maybe that's what happened. So what are the expectations now for Brett Howden? Do they change? now that he's making a little bit more money. He did have, as you mentioned, a season in which he scored 6 goals, had 7 assists, 13 points in the regular season, and then 5 goals, 5 assists, 10 points in the postseason. And he also had the 2-goal game against Winnipeg, was it? Who was it against? I think Winnipeg. Okay, so he did have a 2-goal game in there, but did the expectations change? I know that this is a team concept, and they would like scoring to come from every which angle, but now I think, again, he gets a raise, and for the next couple of years, I'm sure that they have an expectation level for him.
The term I find interesting, that the Golden Knights didn't settle on a 1-year bridge deal type of situation, which might have cost a little bit more. And that's probably what the holdup was, honestly, right? You got to think, and the arbiter's only going to give a 1-year deal because of his age. He's 25 years old. It's a 1-year deal max. So I got to think the term was the holdup in the whole situation. Looking at Howden's games played, he played 54 games this past season, 47 games with the Golden Knights prior to that. I don't recall how much of that was health versus healthy scratch related. I got to think he probably was not a healthy scratch too much the last 2 seasons because of all the injuries. So I think the first expectation is him being available for, 70 to 75 games next season. Injuries happen, of course, but, I think that's the first milestone you'll look at, because if he's on the ice more, he's going to do fine. I don't know if he's going to stick on that line necessarily with Stevenson and Howden. We'll kind of see, or excuse me, Stevenson and Stone.
He's playing both. Okay, both Wayne.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I just don't know if Howden. He's not a line 2 winger. Let's be clear about this. He's a line 2 winger with Stone and Stevenson, so be it. But I don't look at him as a top 6. I don't. He can play if need be, but I mean, I'd really love to see someone like Dorofeyev, maybe take that role, possibly Paul Cotter, players that have maybe a little more punch. But that said, Howden did have 10 points in 22 playoff games, so maybe he will have a better scoring touch coming into his 3rd VGK season.
Season number 1 with the Rangers was the year that he scored 23 points. That was the 18-19 campaign, Chris. And now VGK, when you look at the cap, they are now about 3.2, 3.3, I think, million over the cap, over the salary cap. So they're going to have to do a lot of juggling.
So the situation exactly right now, they're 4.1 million over.
They're 4.1.
4.1 over, 851 when you factor 851 under when you factor Robin Leonard's situation. And the Golden Knights are done making moves right now. They're done. The Howden deal basically landlocks them. There's 2 players that do have 2-way deals right now, Paul Cotter and Braden Pahal, but neither one of them have the waiver eligibility. They would have to clear waivers to get sent down. Both of those players would be grabbed in a heartbeat. So this is going to be the Vegas Golden Knights lineup opening night coming, barring some goofy trade that no one saw coming or an injury. They're at 23 of 23 roster spots as well. So what you see is what you get. We can maybe relax a little bit now.
Yeah, well, you're right on the over 4 million. I did not factor in. I did factor Brett Howden, and that put them a little over 3 million, because that's when I looked at.
Yeah, I got cap friendly here right now.
And that's what I did, though. But then VGK comes back later that day, and they announced the re-signing of Pavel Dorofeyev for $825,000. Couple of knuckleheads. Our math is not always there, folks. So Dorofeyev.
If the math is the only thing wrong with this show, we'd be doing a lot better.
Yeah, we'll be okay there. 18 games for Dorofeyev, 7 goals, 2 assists, and 9 points. But what impressed me the most was that stretch, I want to say, of 5 games where he had 5 goals, 2 assists over the span of 7 games. 5 goals, 2 assists in 7 games. And so if you were to look at expectations now for Dorofeyev, that's a 1-year contract that he signed. He had the goal winner against the Canucks, I think, during the regular season. But how would you define his role? I know it's possibly and probably going to be a race between him and Paul Cotter to fill the Riley Smith role.
Yeah, I mean, Cotter obviously has the physicality. Dorofeyev has the scoring touch. You look at Dorofeyev's AHL season in 21-22, 52 points, 63 games played. He also had a late tying goal against the Minnesota Wild down the stretch to obviously help the Golden Knights get more points and win the Pacific and lead the West and everything. But just watching Dorofeyev scoring, besides the goofy one that went off his helmet, of course, he is a natural scorer. He has a scoring touch. He can score on breakaways. I remember seeing him a couple times at the AHL level in shootouts, pulling the one-handed goal where you kind of go left and right, and you just have one hand on the stick as you go the other way, and the goalie has no shot if you execute it the right way. If you screw up, you look terrible, but Dorofeyev doesn't look terrible when he pulls that move off. Not afraid to shoot from anywhere, and he does the one thing that Cassidy is very strong on, and well, besides shooting from the elbow, getting dirty, getting to those inside areas. And Dorofeyev doesn't come across as the biggest guy, but looking at his metrics really fast, he's right at 6 feet, 194 pounds. He's not going to get any taller, but he might get a little wider, put on a little more muscle as he just develops a little bit, and that'll help him in the corner, and obviously winning his races and his battles. Another thing you hear so much about Cassidy. So of all the storylines and stuff besides the goaltending, Dorofeyev's role with this team is the one that excites me the most, and what his ceiling is. I mean, he could be a quiet 30 goal scorer depending on where he slots in and if he can consistently be in the lineup.
Yeah, they'll go back to the Cup final if that is the case.
Coming
up next, where is that Stanley Cup? We've been tracking it, and we will bring you up to date when we return right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Take your first swing at betting MLB on FanDuel and get 10 times your first bet. The bet amount up to $200 in bonus bets. That's right. Just bet $20 and you will land $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. That's $200 that you can spend anywhere. Of course, across the money line to the total on the game. They have other prop bets. Who's going to have the first home run in the contest? All that. And it is all on the app that is listed as safe, secure, and super easy to use. So check it out. It's really good. Plus, when you win, you do get paid instantly, which is a big plus, especially for the sports bettors, wherever you are out there, because I know you want to probably put it back onto another wager. There's no better place to bet on MLB than FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. So sign up today. You can visit FanDuel.com/lockedon, get up to $200 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon. And again, FanDuel is the official partner of Major League Baseball. Welcome back to Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco, Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Don't forget, coming up in our third segment today, it is WTF. We are a little bit fired up. Thank you so much for sending in all of your comments. We'll get to those in just a few minutes. And make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel. We appreciate everyone chiming in there and chiming in on Twitter at Locked On VGK. So this past week, is Phil Kessel trolling Toronto? He took the cup up there after he kind of gave a little bit of shade. What's up with Toronto?
So this is the third time he's actually brought the cup there, and I don't know how this didn't make it out in the world, but this is there is such a dynamite quote here from Kessel from the ice.
Yeah,
find the stupid thing.
Yeah,
but
it was
from ice level,
right when they won the cup. Yeah.
Come on, this is not. Of course, this isn't loading right now.
Okay, was this party the other day at Chuck E. Cheese? Where was it?
No, it wasn't Chuck E. Cheese, but the
it
Phil
was
Kessel
a kid's party. It was a kid's party. No hot
dogs.
It
was his daughter's first. Well, the cup was at the daughter's first birthday party.
That's pretty amazing
in Toronto. Yeah, I mean that's a pretty cool thing.
Understand the significance later on.
Yeah. So here's the quote right here. So I guess Mike Stevens of the Hockey News. I think he was on the ice during the celebrations.
He was on the ice. Mm-hmm.
Takes me back to my Toronto days, Kessel told Mike Stevens. You guys said I couldn't win, and now I'm a 3-time champ. Remember that.
Shade.
Just brilliance. So
Shade.
3 times he brings the cup back to Toronto. I mean, it's awesome. Kessel is such a fun,
He's a character.
goofy dude. And,
Yep.
like, who doesn't, I mean, what does he have to prove? He's got the Iron Man streak. I know we're already off stride. I don't care. But he's got nothing to prove. He's a 2-time Stanley Cup winner, got the Iron Man streak, done everything imaginable nearly at the NHL level, but he still has a chip on his shoulder. And he's going to have a chip on his shoulder next season, wherever he ends up, which sadly enough is probably not going to be Las Vegas right now. But, he still feels like he has something to prove, and it's awesome. And maybe he's going to play another 6 years. Who knows, Tony?
What if Oscar Mayer Wieners come up with some money for him here, some hot dog money, and then he could still stay here?
That's low hanging fruit, Tony. But I get
okay.
it. I get it.
The Amadios had the cup this week. Michael Amadio and the Misses up in Sault Ste. Marie.
There's a dog drinking out of the cup, Tony. Did you see that one?
Yeah, not sanitary. Not sanitary.
It's sanitary, Tony.
That's pretty bad.
We have health experts on that follow us that tell us it's sanitary. It's fine. It's good. It's okay.
Okay, the Sioux Greyhounds Arena, it was there, and then Picks with the Wag right there by the water. The water, the pictures near bodies of water, that's become the money shot, if you will, for this tour. It used to be, oh man, just party animals around the cup, but now it's like so serene and peaceful. And I thought perhaps that the cup might make its way here to Las Vegas for the Battle of Vegas. But it won't.
I was really hoping that was going to be here over the weekend at some point.
Would have been great.
You mentioned the cup around the water. Reminds me of what Tom Brady on the boat parade, and he threw it to Rob Gronkowski like over the. I mean, it was a Lombardi Trophy. There's one for every year. Who cares if that thing sinks to the bottom of wherever it was? But the Stanley Cup, maybe there's some rules. There's a rule about this. The first rule of the Stanley Cup: don't throw the Stanley Cup.
Right. Exactly. So Friday coming up. It will be with the Brandon Wheat Kings. That's third day with Kelly McCrimmon, one of the 2 made men from this organization. Brett Howden. So we had a feeling that they would settle. It would be awkward if he was heading into arbitration and had the cup, right? We were talking about that. So he will have a parade up in Canada on his day. And then coming up on July the 25th, it will be Mark Stone's day, and he's going to a golf course. Man, these are like wimpy celebrations. This isn't what I expect.
But it's not Vegas, Tony. Like, I mean, the cup had its moments and stuff. I want to know the stories about the cup that none of us know about. Now, I'll take action. That cup has maybe violated a couple of the rules that we hear about. But I'm kind of with you. Like there hasn't been like a knockout, drag them out, XYZ player got drunk and dented the cup or anything like that.
Carlson hasn't had it yet.
I don't know. I think it's going to be something unexpected, like Alec Martinez gets funky or something, or maybe Keegan Colasar, something like that. Like Keegan Colasar, he's going to take it to like a kids camp and going to teach him how to shoot and stuff like that. He's just going to airmail one and dent Kelly McCrimmon's name on the cup or something.
And Colasar gets his turn August 22nd.
Oh, what a segue. What a segue. That was good.
I know.
That was not planned. Not planned.
Unexpected and definitely not planned. And then Zach Whitecloud on the 23rd of August.
That's going to be a special one. They're all
so
special.
you will be credentialed for the Battle of Vegas. And so they have the Fan Fest coming up Friday and Saturday, and player appearances. We'll have a WTF about autographs and all that coming up in our third segment, because I'm a little fired up about that. But in any event, an opportunity to see the players. They will be loose. And if you are going to the game, folks, they are allowing baseballs and pucks, no hockey sticks, and footballs you could bring for the Raiders.
They'll sign anything you can hold and bring in. But so Friday night starts the Fan Fest. It's going to be at 4:00 at the Lawn in Summerlin, downtown Summerlin over there. Whitecloud will be at 4:00, and then on the hour you have Riley Smith, Nate Hobbs, that's a Raider player, and then Doug Brumfield, a UNLV quarterback. So the deal is, guys, anyone can participate in the Fan Fest, but there's going to be some
Brumfield in there. Is that an update?
7:00 he'll be there. Yeah, 7:00.
Come on, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
That's pretty cool. So I forgive me. Is he like the quarterback now, or is he an old quarterback? Okay.
No, he's the current quarterback, and that's how it's going to lay out there. If you're looking for your.
Oh, okay. Back it up about 2 inches. It'll look better. Back it up. There you go. Good. Yep. There you go. That's how it's going to look right there. So if you want access to the players and to participate in what they call the player appearances, where you can get autographs, you have to buy a $15 wristband, which gets you access to some of the inflatable sports features they have. There's a $10 wristband and a $15 wristband. I guess the $15 wristband gets you access to this 88-foot obstacle course, which also gets you the player appearances and stuff like that. Nothing's guaranteed. You got to be in line, be there by a certain amount of time, and blah 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 to make sure you get your space. But it'll be a good time. Like you said, Tony, the players will be loose and relaxed and everything. And then Saturday morning, it starts off. Same deal, same thing with the wristbands. 9 a.m. is Logan Thompson, Nick Hagan, Dylan Coughlin together at 11. Noon is Theodore, and then 1 o'clock is Keegan Kolesar. And then shifting to the game, doors at 5 o'clock. Home Run Derby at 7, which is a lot of fun. Game at 8, fireworks at 9:30, and
sold out.
It is sold out, but they released 100 tickets today, and they were gone pretty fast. So make sure you're following Battle for Vegas on Twitter. That's where you can find out about releases. I'll try if I get a heads up, I'll try and cue you guys off as well. It's going to be a good time. We attended last year as fans. A lot of fun. I think it's going to be a little more structured this year, but it'll still be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think they're going to try to rush it along a little bit due to the heat. So it's supposed to be very hot.
Yeah, it was a long night last year, but it was cool. It was fun, heat, not cool, but yeah, okay.
That's a bad segue. Speaking of heat, WTF.
I know where you're going.
It's a heater. WTF comes your way with the Friday when we return here on Locked On Golden Knights. We are back on Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick, we come to you from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. We definitely appreciate that. And please subscribe on the YouTube channel. So it is that time of the week. It is time for WTF. And I'm going to start things off. Again, these are things good or bad that made you say, what the Friday? I almost slept there. What the Friday? Yeah, that's what it makes you say about VGK. So I'm going to just go back. We were talking about the battle for Vegas, right, in the softball game. I'm going to just turn back the clock a little bit here. We go back a year ago, and I felt that during the course of the summer, you have to remember that VGK did not make the playoffs. And they said, oh, okay, this is a time for the reset, all of that. The guys were busily working out wherever they were, and then they came back to Vegas for the game. And I think that it galvanized the team. This was a little bit of a turning point for me, and you might agree, I think, Chris, because they wanted to win this game over the Raiders because the Raiders had beaten them previously, and they did play very competitively, and you could see the fire.
Raiders had a big lead in that game, too. They were the big lead.
Fire in the belly. And then no one really knew Jack Eichel. The fans didn't know him very well.
This is good.
The players on the team didn't know him quite well, right? And here's Eichel rounding third base, and he does the cartwheel into home and tries to take Ryan Reeves out of the Wild lineup this season, Rangers and Wild lineup this past season, right? He hurt his foot. Or I don't know if that was the play, but in any event, that's when there was an acceptance of Eichel. I just saw maybe the root of the chemistry with his team. WTF, I'm going to go back to the softball game a year ago and say that this galvanized this VGK team.
So going a step farther, I actually asked Jack Eichel. He scored a goal. I think he was coming back from injury, just kind of, turn the corner there.
You did ask him.
He scored a big goal against Pittsburgh, and he really celebrated it, right? So we got him in the scrum, and I started off kind of a canned answer. Hey, you seem to have a little more, in that celebration. What were you feeling? And I just loved scoring goals. It felt good, blah, 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 blah. And then I followed up right away before anyone else can get a word. And I said, is there ever a time we can expect you to bust out that softball celebration you did? And he stops and looks at me. He's like, softball celebration? Like, I thought he wanted me to tell him about a new celebration he can do on the ice. And I said, no. When you did the cartwheel at the Riley Smith game, and it got a chuckle from him and the media standing there. I think they were surprised some nobody was just had the stones to ask him that question. But Jack smiled and laughed, said, I will save that for the softball game. But it's tough to make Jack Eichel break character. It's like when the WWE character breaks, wrestler breaks their character during the interviews and stuff like that. So I got Jack Eichel. That was cool there. All right, so I'll go next for my What the Friday. And this is an unfortunate one in so many regards. So you have Adin Hill doing an autograph signing at, I believe, Findlay Honda. And it seemed like it was going to be a very, very, very well-organized event. They had this sign up there that said, hey, you can bring 3 items, get in line. Here's how you get your number. And then at the bottom said, and most importantly, have fun with Adin when you get your chance to meet him. Okay, cool. So the day starts, everyone gets their tickets. It was pretty organized, but they made the people wait. Like
some people were in line from like 6:30 in the morning.
Yeah, so they guaranteed 100 wristbands to get in. And once there was more than 100 people there, they didn't start passing the wristbands out right away, unfortunately. And that's when everyone was like, hey guys, there's 100 people here. It's hot as blankety blank out here. It's hot as Friday out here. There you go. That's pretty good. So let's get this going. So they finally got their wristbands. So people come back and they're in line, and all of a sudden, like moments before Hill comes out, the Fanatics people like, hey, you get 1 item signed. It's a little 4x6 picture. Have fun. And there's pictures on social media. I shared them on my personal page, and Tony commented, so you guys can find him there, of these 2 people from Fanatics, especially this one male who was literally like standing in an aggressive stance facing the people as they're getting their autographs and making sure like you better not get something else on that table. And just a girl standing there with this evil grin on her face the whole time. And I just don't understand. Like, let's be clear. We're not bashing Adin Hill. This is not going to be on Adin Hill one bit. Whether this is the situation with the agents, whether this is a situation with Findlay Honda and not communicating, or somehow he has some deal with Fanatics now, and Fanatics was there to babysit him. Like, it looks so bad on so many different levels. And somewhere between Findlay Honda and Adin Hill's agent and Fanatics, someone What the Friday'd up on this whole thing, unfortunately. And it's sad. It's unfortunate because you had people there all day. And it's not just about the people trying to get something signed to make money off of. Yes, there's people like that there, and fine. That's a whole ecosystem.
Those are mostly the media people.
It's pretty funny. So you do have that world happening and stuff like that. But you have, like, I heard a story about like a young kid made like a hockey net he wanted him to sign. Like, the kid spent, hours of his time just for this, 30-second interaction with Adin Hill to get his sticks or his net signed, and he couldn't do it. And there's so many other people who wanted to get a personal artifact signed that means something to them. And the fact that gets taken away, like if at 10 a.m. they said this, okay, fine, so be it. But you can't do this a half hour beforehand. Fanatics or whoever, you got to have a heart in the situation. So someone screwed up. WTF for either Fanatics or Findlay Honda or Adin Hill's agent, wherever this happened. It sucks. And I wish they would have taken the Mark Stone approach, where Mark Stone did a signing at Dick's Sporting Goods, and there was a sign, hey, only going to sign certain things that you buy. Mark Stone said, what the Friday that's, and signed everything and anything you put in front of him. So
he was extremely hungover too.
He'll look all right. He didn't look hangover.
No, I'm talking about Mark Stone.
I know. I was saying Hill didn't look too hungover. I think Hill was
the day after the celebration, right?
Or it was close. It was within a couple, like 48 hours, but yeah, it was close.
Yeah. So these VGK autograph signings, I think, are getting a little bit out of control. You talked about the Dick's Sporting Goods, right? That appearance. I think up front they need to tell you what the parameters are, and they need to stick to those.
That's the thing.
And thanks again to @VGK Colleen for bringing this to our attention tonight.
She was the first one. Yeah, I talked to a few people too, but yeah.
Yeah, and so on Twitter, she first got a hold of me, and then you were involved. Other people chimed in, and again, the Adin Hill signing at the car dealership, and they have it posted there as she put up a photo of the poster. Up to 3 items will be signed. Place the items in a designated basket. Place personal items on the black table.
Like, it's organized. This is great so far. This is awesome.
Then they get to the front, and it's just a 4x6 card, and Fanatics actually was controlling it. We can't point it to anyone else, but for some reason, Fanatics was involved, which who even knew that that was part of this signing or how this came to fruition. So in any event,
That's
they
weird.
need to be better prepared for these. I know this is the first time VGK won a cup, but this is not the first instance. I've just been seeing a lot of these signings. They'll only take X amount of people. The people in the back of the line that were waiting there all day had no idea. Yeah, it's just turned into a nightmare when they're trying to do some goodwill. And so whoever it's on, I'm not going to point the blame at anyone.
Because we don't know. We don't know.
Right. I'm going to guess Fanatics, right? I would have to assume. But in any event,
but we don't know what the communication was.
Get them straight. Okay.
Yes.
That's it. For the fans' sake, because the fans, some of them are taking off work. Some our fans in this city are fanatics. They're fanatics. They're absolutely wild about this team. And so they will take time off from work or do whatever it takes. And some of you they're on a mission to get every autograph of every player whose name is engraved on the cup, and some people whose names shouldn't be on there.
Well, and I guess the main question was a lot of questions.
Yeah.
But why, like, if someone had a Fanatics hockey puck or a Fanatics shirt or a Fanatics jersey, why couldn't Hill sign that?
Yeah. No, it's pretty interesting. I don't know.
Yeah.
Pretty sad for the fans. I just feel bad for the fans. And
no, it's a bad experience for the fans. Okay. And fire away.
Joseph Wooten, 248-8485. Is that his phone number? I don't know. Whatever that is, that's his Twitter handle. WTF, Tony's crazy idea of a mid-season tournament. Come on, man.
It's not a crazy idea.
No, because they could generate money, but the league doesn't know how to generate.
So how really
money.
Fast in 15 seconds, how does the NBA in-season tournament work with respect to factoring into the standings at the end of the season?
I think that
if I'm putting you on the spot, I'm sorry.
No. I want to say, and I don't know concrete, absolutely. But I believe that at the start of this whole playoff scenario, that they do count the games, and then the teams that are in the finals, perhaps they don't count the games against them. But we'll get that 100.
Sorry about that. I didn't know.
100. No, I thought I knew, but I'm just talking. I don't know.
It's I watched this much basketball.
At that _guy 448, WTF is with clickbaity news articles on social media. Like, just admit there's nothing to currently cover and move on. It's funny, but we cover stuff that's still happening. At least at TD Chris G doesn't make the clickbait. And that is signed at TD Chris G. That's pretty good. Yeah, so no, that's a good one too. And again, we definitely appreciate all of your WTFs that you sent in. If you're going to the Fan Fest this weekend, please have a good time.
No WTFs, please. I hope there's no WTFs from this weekend. It's going to be such a fun time.
Yeah, I've got some clients out there. I'm going to roam around perhaps on Friday some and some on Saturday, so I might bump into you. And I just think the Fan Fest is a very good idea. And it's on the lawn at Summerlin. So take the whole family out there. It will be a ton of fun. We appreciate everyone tuning in, especially our everydayers. You are the folks that make us tick. Or now it's the every other dayers. You get that? Because we're 3 times a week.
I get it.
All right. Have a great weekend, everyone. We appreciate you tuning in wherever you're at. And keep those comments coming from my man, Chris Golick. I'm Tony Cardasco from Las Vegas. We'll see you again on Monday right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Take care.